Welcome back to day 32 of Pause, 40 Words for the 40 Days of Lent. I am Reverend Linda Snyder, pastor of Middle Church in Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, and our word today is pray. Our scripture comes from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 11, verses 1 and 2. One day Jesus was praying in a certain place. When he finished, one of his disciples said to him, "Lord, teach us to pray, just as John taught his disciples." He said to them, "When you pray, say, 'Father, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come.'" If you haven't already paused in silence before the Lord, pause this video and do so now. Do you struggle to spend time with God? Do you feel stuck, scattered, fragmented, and uncentered? Are you tired, physically, spiritually, and emotionally? Has your prayer life become the same old, same old? Many Christians have a relationship with Jesus that is seriously underdeveloped. We talk to God. We talk at God. But have we learned to listen? Do you long for a first-hand, interactive relationship with God? Do you want to learn how to pray? The disciples wanted to learn, so they asked Jesus to teach them. In fact, this is the only time they ask Jesus to teach them anything. And Jesus responds with what we call the Lord's Prayer. I suspect Jesus is horrified by the routine, robotic way we recite the words of this familiar prayer, thinking that because we are saying the words, we are praying. Lent invites us to pray in a whole new way. Lent invites us to turn to God just to be with Him, instead of only turning to God to get something. Keeping a quiet time or doing devotions is usually focused on getting filled up for the day or interceding for others. But that's not how the disciples saw Jesus pray. They craved the rhythm of conversation that Jesus had with his Father. I hate to admit it, but it is only recently that I have come to understand that God has been waiting for me to pause and ponder, to stop, to be still long enough to hear Him. That my listening to God when I pray muscles needed some exercise. That's why I ask you to pause in silence before you begin each devotion. Now, I know that it can feel overwhelming. Some days, most days, 3 minutes still feels like a long time. And it isn't like God has spoken some audible words that I can hear when I'm silent. But I am slowly learning to rest in God's presence. And I'm getting to know God and myself in ways that can happen only in silence. The words Jesus gave us to pray need to be entered into, lived in, meditated on, as well as spoken. If you are interested in learning how to pray, Lent is a good time to begin. For today's daily practice, I want you to meditate on the Lord's Prayer today. Don't just recite it rotely, but slowly speak each line, and then pause and ponder its meaning for your life. And in the days to come, continue to live into this prayer, or maybe pray using one of the Psalms. Let me give you an example to get you started. Father, Abba, Daddy, perfect. You never blow it like my earthly father sometimes did. You created me in your likeness. You love me and see me as yours. And then just be still and listen. Jesus said to them, "When you pray, say, 'Father, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come.'"